guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's recap video. I hope you're all having a great start to your week thus far. We had a great week around here. Good weather, lots of productivity, lots of projects being done, which was really nice. A couple of announcements before we jump into the questions. First one, we will not have a main channel video on Tuesday. We are taking that day off because it's our 19th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
19 years ago.
19. Do you have big plans for the 20th?
20th anniversary?
Yeah.
We'll probably fly somewhere.
Is that like a certain stone, or aren't there like different gemstones or something for each?
I think so.
10 years or every 5 years?
Let me look it up.
There's like a golden anniversary and a diamond anniversary.
20th anniversary gift. There's a whole bunch listed. Isn't there like, what's the traditional gift? Is China, symbolizing the delicacy and strength of a long-lasting marriage.
I don't think that's right.
Well, that's what Nelson Estate Jewelers says.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Do they sell China?
What is that?
Do they sell China?
Well, probably. I don't know. What is the symbol for 20 years of marriage? China. It as the traditional gift and platinum as the modern gift.
Oh, so it's our platinum anniversary. What's 25?
I don't know. I looked up 20th. I'm going to have to refine my search. Hold on. Silver. Some years have a metal instead of a gemstone, and the 25th anniversary is one of them. Silver anniversary gifts define the quarter-century milestone with the precious metal as a traditional and modern theme. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, so gold is the 50th.
Oh. We got a little ways to go for that.
Huh.
Well, there you go.
So platinum.
Platinum or China.
Yeah. How about that?
Anyway, I will make a post on community and on Facebook and Instagram probably as well, just letting you all know that there will not be a video that day. Everything else will be normal. And then a couple of store announcements. We do have Proven Winners water soluble fertilizer back in stock. Ken brought some up for me.
A little late in the season.
Well, it's been out of stock for a while, and there's been a lot of people, I guess, asking for it, Ken says. So he is doing 15% off this and 10% off all other fertilizing products through Sunday the 28th. Anyway, there's still a lot of season left, at least for Southern Gardens, and we're still fertilizing here. We probably will fertilize, I'm guessing, 1 or 2 more times. And then we'll...
Yeah, maybe 3.
Maybe 3. Then we'll start backing off. So we needed some here. But anyway, I have it sitting here. Also, I showed you some baskets last week that were so cute. Some harvest baskets, and they sold out. So they are going to be restocked, but Ken brought up some other ones that are super cute too. They look similar.
Are those just smaller?
They just don't have like that like bulbed out bottom of the basket, you know?
Yeah.
But they're the same kind of basic, lined and all of that.
Sure.
They come as a set of 3, so I thought I would just show you that as an option, and that is it for my store announcements. So let's jump into the videos from this past week. The first one was planting firelight hydrangeas and cutting some for an arrangement. So I had the firelight hydrangeas we had initially ordered for the entryway garden. We got them a long time ago, and they sat in the high tunnel area and kind of like...
languished a little bit.
Well, they did, but when they came here, they didn't look the best either. I mean, they were lanky and kind of leggy.
We have a hard time keeping hydrangeas looking good in containers.
It can be difficult during the heat.
Yeah, they want to be in the ground.
Yeah, but we were taking care of them just fine. Like, they weren't drying out or anything. They just weren't like the best shaped. So we happened to get our hands on the ones that we ended up using up there that were way fuller and so gorgeous. So I had these firelight hydrangeas sitting there. I thought, well, I would love to plant these somewhere because they're gorgeous plants. So let's pop them all out in the dirt lands and cut the blooms for an arrangement. And I always feel bad cutting blooms off of anything in my garden because I so enjoy seeing them in the garden that this was kind of the perfect opportunity because they're sort of tucked back just opposite the lane of the pole barn. Planted them in a big arc back there. And it was a beautiful day. It was like on and off raining. The kids were out playing. We harvested some of those Maribel plums. We figured out what those were back there, like in all the shrubbery. Anyway, it was a great day. Jesse said, how fun to discover a new fruit tree in your garden. Question is, did you try them and would you try experimenting making jams with them? Would be interesting to see what you think. So yes, the kids especially have been tanking those plums. But it's funny because of course, they don't eat the pit, but they don't like the skin either. The skin has a little bit of a tartness to it. But the interior, like the flesh, is so sweet, and it's got kind of like honey sort of notes, which, Benjamin's a honey fiend. So the kids, they like suck all the juice out and then throw the remnants wherever we're out in the garden, and they just get sticky. Anyway, I do want to make some preserves with them. I found a couple of recipes online for that specific type of plum. So we'll probably do that here soon. I did harvest some, a basket full, and I was going to make preserves, and they ended up getting some fruit flies, and so the chickens got those. I didn't really want to mess with those at that point. Michelle said, have you ever used a flower frog to hold the stems in your flower arrangements? Game changer. Your flower arrangements look gorgeous. Are you talking like the metal ones that have the spikes all over them? I have some around here, but I don't really prefer using that specific type of frog. I'll usually opt for like chicken wire all balled up, or a grid of floral tape on the top of the vase. And if I have a very shallow sort of, I've got these really pretty silver footed bowls that are like this shallow. Occasionally I'll use a piece of Oasis, which I probably would have never admitted to 10 years ago.
Why?
On a video, because there's all kinds of like
controversial
microplastics and all of that kind of business. Anyway, I'm like this much of a piece, like once a year. I don't really find anything wrong with it. So anyway, occasionally I'll use that if I'm using a very shallow thing, but it has to be, I don't just make those really shallow arrangements normally. It has to be for some sort of an occasion. But and then I'll also like wind up some branches from a tree, usually like the willow tree. You can take branches off at any point of the year. As long as you take all the leaves off of them, you can take a bundle of them and kind of roll them around and make kind of a ball and shove it in the vase, and that works really well too. But yeah, I just haven't, I don't know. Maybe I just need to try those types of frogs out more often or at all. I don't know. I just have never really been like enamored with the thought of it. I don't know why.
You haven't been making as many arrangements this year as past years?
I think it's because I released myself from the whole flower garden thing, the cut flower garden thing. I did that for so many years, and I enjoy making arrangements when I'm in the mood to do it. But when you have a garden dedicated to the cut flower garden thing, you feel like you should be making more.
Like you have to.
And that's not really what I enjoy doing consistently. I like growing the plants, and I like looking at them out in the garden. And that's kind of what I came to terms with. Like, I like the way they look, even if it's a row crop. I don't care, like out in the dirt lands. If I cut a single flower from those, I so enjoy looking at them, even in that kind of state with weeds all around them, that's what brings me joy, not necessarily the flower arranging portion of it. But if the mood strikes me to do a flower arrangement,
you got the flowers to cut if you want.
Yeah. I don't know. There was like some amount of freedom in that to me.
Sure.
I'm sure I'll change my mind too. I kind of go in and out. You know, I don't know if you guys are the same way too. Like, you know, I'll go be in the mood to do something for a few years, and then like, oh, we just need to take a break from that.
Yeah.
And release myself from that a little bit, and then maybe we'll get back in the mood to do it. It's like canning. I canned everything in sight one year, and I burned myself out so bad that I didn't can for like 10 years after that. Do you remember that year?
Oh, yeah.
It was just the two of us. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, how many jars of lemon curd can a person go through, you know? Okay. Ken Ivy Wood said, the salvia blooms are beautiful. Would they last in a vase for a cut flower? Thank you for sharing your garden and the peaceful garden. I forgot, I did go into the cut flower garden, formal flower garden, and I cut back some of the salvia that had reached the boxwoods. And they do hold in a vase. A lot of those, though, if you really look at them close, like they're really long panicles, and the top looks really pretty and fresh, but the bottom, more than half, is spent in kind of more of a gray purple color, if that makes sense, more of a silvery look to it. So I'd really have to pick through them for like prime blooms that would last a long time in a vase. Tanya said, love these hydrangeas. Question, do you think your mom would tell us a bit about their trip to France? I'd like to plan a trip there, but I know it's better to go with a group. I don't know if it's better to go with a group or wing it on our own. Would love to hear her advice. They've done both. They went to Paris. They went to France. When was that? 20 years ago now, and they went on their own. This last time, they actually went with my aunt and uncle, so my dad's brother and his wife, and it was kind of a bucket list trip for them. They'd never been over there, and so they asked my parents if they would go with them, and they did, and it was a Viking cruise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so it was a totally different experience, but I'm sure we could ask her next time we're doing a project together. I'm going to see if she wanted to come up and make some wreaths with me here soon. Okay, next video is planting the hydrangeas and boxwoods in the entry flower bed and rose deadheading. So we did just that. We planted the Firelight hydrangeas and the Independence boxwoods, the new gen ones, up in the front flower bed. And I took my time on that. I measured every single plant in that space, and I think it looks really pretty. We're still waiting on boxwoods to kind of finish it off, and I think we might bank out that whole side with hydrangeas. So I don't know if we'll be able to get those this year or next year. It doesn't really matter. At least we're on our way. Yeah. Right. And so Red Oak Construction's actually out there right now as we speak. They installed the door in the mail house, probably the windows, I'm guessing, and then maybe the roof's done.
Yeah.
So it's just siding and then the inside.
Yeah.
And we'll have to have the electricians come and do the lights. I've got a little chandelier that actually came out of the room I just redid for Samantha. I bought her a new chandelier. And the one that was in there we're going to use in the mail house. So just kind of chick-shay around the property, different stuff. But I'm so excited to have that all buttoned up. And then we'll need to get a sign. I'm kind of waiting. I don't know what you envision for a mail house sign, Erin, but I kind of want to wait for the mail house to be done. And then we can figure out like where we would like something to be positioned.
There needs to be some type of something to let people know. Yeah. That they, I think a lot of mail people, I'll bet like Amazon and UPS, they will not want to open the door because they probably are trained. Like you don't open doors.
Please leave delivery.
Yeah. You'll need like a little sign.
Delivery person, please leave packages inside.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder how many people on their route have little like mail huts.
I don't know.
I always kind of wonder about stuff like that.
Well, if it were me coming up to a gate, I would immediately start looking around like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? And I think you would kind of figure that. I mean, we'll have a sign. So.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then I went and deadheaded a few roses at the end just because I just like to get little things here and there done if I can. It just kind of helps move everything forward when you're just consistently, even if it's not a big project, consistently working on something. Bob Askew said, how long do you water your hydrangeas and how many days a week do you water them? So our drip during the heat of summer goes every other day. And the zones will go off differently depending on what's on that zone.
And different areas hold on to moisture differently. So like you might have a zone that goes 30 minutes. You might have a zone that goes for an hour.
It just depends.
Yeah. I mean, there's some areas where you run the drip for like 20 minutes and it just seems like there's an overabundance of water. And I still don't understand why that is. Yeah. Why some zones just look like they put out a ton of water really quickly. And then other ones you run it for, over an hour and you're kind of like, where's the water?
Yeah.
Did anything happen here?
Yeah. Sometimes you'll notice that the water soaks up above the drip tube into the mulch. So you can really clearly see where it's watering. And sometimes if the soil's accepting it, just disappears.
Yes, yeah, I don't know. It's like anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours.
Every other day.
Close
to 100 or over 100. Right now, you've gone taken everything back by 50% at this point.
I looked at the weather and we're going to have some days in the upper 80s. And I kind of wonder if maybe I need to throw it back up to like 75%. That's usually what I do is I'll kind of judge based on if we're getting any moisture from, the clouds. And how cool it is. So, I probably need to bump it up just a little bit more. I think 50% might have come back a little bit too far. But it is getting cool at night.
Well, yesterday morning I went out to help unload the trees, and it was 48 degrees when I stepped outside. I got a vest. I didn't wear it for very long, but...
And the days are shorter, too.
Yeah.
So the amount of sunlight that, things are accepting is less, so it's drying the soil a lot less. So, I don't know.
I know. Right now, when you get on, especially like the golf cart or the gator, and you're driving around, even in the middle of the day, if it's, high 80s or whatever, supposed to get high 80s, you can feel that cool edge to the air. It's very pleasant. Sue said, Super Tunia Vista bubblegum works incredibly well for me as well. In your opinion and experience, what comes in second for a robust, showy annual? So in the Super Tunia line, Jazzberry, Cool Jazz, which is a new one, highly recommend that one. Snowdrift, any of the Vistas, honestly.
Yeah.
Any of the Vistas or Mini Vistas do really, really well. Mini Vista White is one I'm going to be relying on heavily next year. Super Beana's Sparkling Amethyst, Whiteout, Pink Cashmere, Cobalt, Violet Ice. All winners. Absolute winners.
But they can lull. Sometimes with those, they can lull, whereas bubblegum never lulls.
It's true. And you know what? Super Tunia Bordeaux, it's a smaller growing Super Tunia, but it's a beast.
Pretty vigorous.
Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous.
I would put Play in the Blue Salvia in terms of vigor.
Yeah.
I'd put that up there.
For sure. The Super Tunia tiaras are pretty good too. I noticed that the color consistency was not consistent this year on mine. So I was a little less enamored. The Super Tunia Tiara Pink last year was a high performer and super consistent color. I didn't do any of the Tiara Pink this year. I did Tiara Blue. And I noticed, especially in the ground out where we have them in front of the Suncredibles. Oops, sorry. Hold on. It's my mom. Sorry for the interruption. Anyway, I think I was talking about the tiara blue in front of the Suncredible sunflowers has been pretty consistent, but I had it in a container in front of the greenhouse, and I noticed a lot of the flowers were turning white. Like they were white with like a little bit of blue, and looked really weird, and they were not, it was weird in that one thing. I ended up pulling the whole thing out because it was just not that pretty. But the ones in the ground are way more consistent, so I don't know what gives there. Lemon coral. Any of the dahlias.
Yeah, but what was the original question?
Dahlias.
What was the original question?
Well, I don't even really know what the...
Are you just talking about pretty things?
No, well, maybe. It's what comes in second for a robust, showy annual.
So for robust, my vote would be Plain the Blue Salvia.
What about for like in the Supertunia line?
Any of the vistas. They're all kind of the same.
Yeah. Anyway, we've given you lots of ideas. Dorothy said, your gardens are beautiful, thank you, and just take my breath away. The entrance is shaping up and looks very regal. Will the door to your mail house open in or out? Out. I was wondering because when the snow is deep, your pathway will be covered. Also, the small bushes will be hidden. So if it went in, you'd have no space to put boxes down. It's a 6 by 6 foot little mail house. So it will open out. We're just going to have to shovel it along with everything else. The thing is that with our gate, we're going to have to be out there making sure that there's not a big pile of snow anyway, because it will not function properly. It will not open if there's a big pile of snow around it.
Are you sure it's going to open out?
Yes, Blake asked me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. The flower shed opens in.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he asked me, he's like, now you want it like coming out, right? Because if you do it in, you won't have any room to set down something and then leave. Like, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Guess we should probably go double check. Chris said, I just started growing roses. Where do you order your roses from? The bulk of my roses come from my parents' garden center. That's where I try to get the bulk of them anyway, because I can look at the shape of them. I can see the quality of them. And they get roses in from Weeks, a lot of them from Weeks, and then a lot from David Austin. I'm trying to think of any other rose suppliers. Is Star Roses still a supplier? They might get some from Star. I know that they used to. Anyway, they pot them up. They come bare root to my parents' garden center, and then they pot them up and sell them at the garden center. The online, we've had some from Heirloom Roses, and we've had some from Grace Rose Farm. Both of those places have had pretty good luck with them. I'm trying to think if I have ordered a small hand from David Austin, like straight from them. Because there were varieties that I couldn't get it down at the garden center. But anyway.
We should probably mention that we've heard that a lot of people have had bad luck with Grace Rose Farm.
Oh, really?
We got that. Remember, we got that in the comment section?
Oh, no, I don't remember.
We've had good luck, personally.
Yeah, we have.
But we heard that a lot of people didn't get their roses on time or got them they were...
Like undersized?
Yeah, they were either undersized or they had issues with them, but it's like they were trying to get them out anyway.
See,
there was a lot of controversy about it, that
Really?
they had like oversold what they could do. And again, this isn't our experience. We were just listening. We were just reading comments from other people. So it's essentially like us just reading reviews of other people's experience. So our experience was good. Other people's were pretty vocal.
Maybe it was just a year. I know they were moving. They moved locations one year, and I wonder if maybe... sometimes you can have an off.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because our experience was good.
You just feel like you got to say it because the people who had a bad experience were pretty vocal about it.
Sure.
So anyway, just throwing it out there.
Pat said, I look forward to your videos every day. Are you going to line the drive at your entrance with bricks like you have in other areas? That would be the finishing touch. At the entrance, are we going to line it with brick?
No, I don't think so, because the boxwoods will just kind of
cover over them.
Yeah, so I don't think it's worth it.
Probably not. The brick edging will end at the back side of the brick pillars, though. Yeah. Diane's floral art said, everything looks so immaculate and thoughtfully planned. Have you ever done a bloopers video? I love learning along with you so much over the years. Thank you, Laura and Aaron, and extended family. That'd be incredibly hard to put together, I think.
Yeah. We don't really have a lot of bloopers. I remember early on, do you remember, you used to get kind of mad when stuff wouldn't work?
Oh, yeah. Well,
because you wanted it just to work the first time.
Well, of course. And when you've got a camera, like you're out there, you've gone to the effort of setting all this stuff up. We were pressed for time every single time because we didn't have any interior spaces to do projects. It was all outside, and it was all weather driven, and it was all lunch hour driven, or even, and so we were under the gun time wise. And so when things didn't go well, I was already so like high stress inside that I would just kind of like, whoa.
Well, and I think also in the beginning, you didn't have any concept of just showing how the process works, but instead you wanted to organize the process and show people like you only wanted to show it if it worked the best. Like if you tried something out that didn't work, you wouldn't show it. Instead, now you will. You'll just be like, okay, that was
a fail.
That was a fail. That didn't work. I'm going to try this.
Well, that just shows comfort level too.
I suppose.
Like at this point, it's kind of, I don't know, I think I'm 10 years older too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like more secure with yourself.
Yeah. There's things that I'll talk
prove.
about now that I just wouldn't back then because I just didn't want to, I don't know, but I feel like being the most real that we can without like, obviously show it like, if you and I get in a disagreement over something,
sure,
because it happens, we're not going to show that in a video.
Yeah.
Like, who would do that? That's not appropriate to put in a video. But we try to be as real as we can about the whole process.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, though, through the years, we kind of honed the process a lot more, too. And I kind of started to realize, because I was so uncomfortable in front of a camera and I was uncomfortable with the process, but now I kind of know, like, okay, we can edit to this point, cut. And I know where the cuts can be made to where it seamlessly, like the project flows.
Sure.
Even if like my scissors were too dull and they weren't cutting the plastic properly and I had to go get new ones, you know, you don't need to include that.
Sure.
Yeah. But I got to a point where I realized where things could be, it doesn't matter. Just stop where you're at, go get a sharp pair of scissors and then start back in and you can just cut that part out,
I also don't feel like we're all that funny.
No, it's like we're pretty down to business. And
yeah, most of the time when you and I joke about stuff, it's
inside stuff.
Inside jokes from like The Office quotes or
dumb movies.
Parks and Rec quotes or things like that. Some movie, Christmas Vacation quotes. We have our staples.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Susan said, when are you harvesting pumpkins? At the end of this week. So you guys will see that harvest video here soon. And I am as interested in seeing what's out there as everyone else, because I can see some big orange and white things like from the very back side of the dirt lands. Like when I'm peering in there, I can see little pops of color, but I have no idea, honestly, what we're going to find in there because it's so overgrown with weeds. I told my mom and sister, Monica, they're going to come and help harvest because all of these things are going down to the garden center. I told them long pants and long sleeves, you're going to need them because we're going to be tromping through like tumbleweeds, like really stickery stuff.
How are we going to get the landscape fabric out?
Well, I don't really know. I think if we attached it to if we could get up enough of it to tie it around the back of a tractor and just take off, it'll all pull out.
You think?
It's strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll just break off the roots of the pumpkins?
Yeah. Whatever works.
I feel like it would end up breaking the landscape fabric.
I don't know. There's a good portion of the vines that won't be there anymore because when we harvest, we'll hack away at the vines. I'm not going to like leave little babies out there because I don't have enough time to.
Gotcha.
So we'll probably cut a lot of it away.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting process. The next video was fertilizing the lawn. That was Erin's project that day, and planting several beautiful things. That was my project for the day. So I just had a gator full of stuff that I planted, and then when I was done, Erin took off with his lawn fertilizing project, which all the lawn is looking really good right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's growing like...
I have to mow it like every 3 or 4 days. It's crazy.
It's nuts, yeah. Patty said, thanks for the info. Could the extra rainfall this year coupled with the drip system be too much moisture, therefore causing the fungus? Also, do you aerate the lawn periodically?
I do aerate, yes. So what I'm dealing with specifically that I know of is fairy ring. There could be other funguses, I suppose, but fairy ring is the... you can just see it out you can see the rings, the dark rings. So yeah, I think that I just need to get out early next year and really go hard on preventative. I mean, I say going hard, but basically it just means like do it early before it takes hold.
Sure.
Because every pamphlet, from all the fungicide, it always says use this as a preventative. Like very rarely do you see stuff that's like this is curative. So.
Heather said, love those chairs next to the Dream Stream. Do you remember where you got them from or the name of the brand / model? Okay, I bought those years and years ago from Lowe's. I ordered them online. I was looking for more of a, not narrow, but just a smaller, more petite sort of chair. Instead of I love our chairs at the fireplace area. Those are from Home Depot. Do you remember the brand? Bay?
Carlisle?
No, that's from Frontgate.
Oh.
The Home Depot one, something
I don't
Bay.
know.
Is it Hampton Bay?
Well, I think they're Hampton Bay chairs, but
They're so comfy.
There's like a series.
Yeah. Anyway, those are huge. They're
It was
big
the
chairs.
2018 series.
Was it?
Or 17.
Well, you know what? I just this year replaced the cushions. The other ones were so gross. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, those came from Lowe's. I can't remember the name, but we're still using the same cushions that we had on them when they came here. So
How about that?
Yeah. Evelyn said, Erin, we have that high dollar, ever elusive grass called Bermuda grass. You know the good stuff. Do you use the same products on all of your lawns?
Do you know, I don't know about warm season grasses.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that Alan Hain, remember him? The lawn care nut?
Yes, yeah.
He lives in Florida.
Okay.
And I think that he's got a few different kinds. I think he's got St. Augustine, some zoysia, and some Bermuda grass, I think. So that's just not my
So maybe
thing.
check out his stuff. He's probably
Yeah.
got some things on there on what to use
The
on
lawn
that.
care nut.
Yeah. Waterfall FW said, can I pre-order the paper pots? I'm afraid they'll run out before I get a chance to buy them. We don't even have them back in stock quite yet. We will have them here soon.
If there's a listing, there's a thing that you can click to say notify me.
I don't think there's a listing because these are
Okay.
exclusive.
Okay.
They're going to be a little bit different.
Sign up for
and better.
emails. Sign up for emails and we'll notify
Yeah.
people. I know Ken tries to prioritize the people who have signed up for emails first before like you mention things. Because it feels like those people are a little bit more invested in
Sure.
the store and
Yeah.
kind of supporting us. So it's like, if anybody's going to get them, it should go to those people.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left, anybody else can buy. So
Yeah. Next video is harvesting the last potatoes, cutting and displaying corn stalks, and planting a miscanthus. That was kind of a random day of things that, I don't know. I didn't even know if I should film the potatoes because I'd already filmed harvesting potatoes 2 other times this season. So you guys are so good to stick it out with me, but I needed to get it done. So we got it done.
proof that our videos are just what we're actually doing.
It is, yep. Mindy said so satisfying, especially like the bundles in front of the flower shed. And I ended up, so I put them out that day, and then I went straight back out there that night because we had a huge windstorm come through, and I set them inside the shed. And I've since brought them back out, but what I did is I just brought a bamboo stake, like a garden stake out, drove it into the ground right next to where I wanted those, and then I just lashed the corn stalks to the stake. So they're not even attached to the building. They're just kind of freestanding, but they're looking good out there. Where will you plant row crops and dump plant clippings once the dirt lands are no longer the dirt lands and is horse pasture instead? So you guys know when you go to a rock yard or where you get bulk mulch, they have those like bays set up with the big concrete blocks. I think you're looking at putting in two bays in the back. So just like down the way from the pole barn, there will be 2 big bays with those concrete blocks. One will be mulch, which is compost, and we'll have that delivered and put in the bay instead of just randomly dropped in piles around the property. And then the other bay will be for plant debris and or compost. I mean, you could do multiple bays back there if you wanted.
Yeah, and we can add on.
Yeah,
to it
you
in
absolutely
the future.
could. So we're looking at getting that kind of all organized. Once everything is in the pole barn and we can kind of clean that area up, then you can size up what size you want. Because what were you thinking, like 2 or 3 deep? I don't know.
Yeah, 4 or 5 deep.
Because they're 6 feet, right?
There's quite a bit of space back there.
Right, you were saying 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 or 5. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll just have to kind of place
Like
them.
2 or
and
3
then-
high,
Yeah.
maybe. It'd be a nice contained way of keeping things back there.
Yeah, and it's kind of out in the back.
Yeah.
You won't see it, very easily.
No. I think it'd be really nice. Clementine said, didn't she also grow sweet potatoes this year? Or do I remember incorrectly? I did not grow sweet potatoes this year. That was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. It's been a little bit, I feel like. Maybe it was the year before last that I planted sweet potatoes. They're harder to dig because, they get so kind of like long and they've got usually a really thin neck on one side, and I always break so many of them trying to get them out of our heavy soil. So I think if I did sweet potatoes again, I would maybe try to figure out more of a lofty growing situation, like maybe in a bin somewhere.
We need a harvester for
There
the
you go.
tractor.
There you go. Could it also harvest dahlia tubers?
Probably.
Because there's a thing that does that.
Yeah.
And I would consider growing more dahlias and like making it more of a thing if it wasn't such a pain to dig them. They're such a pain to dig. Ooh. Barbara said, have you ever been bitten by a black widow? I just moved to South Carolina from Philadelphia, and we have some doozy spiders here. I never have been bitten by a black widow. Have you been bitten by a spider?
No.
My dad was bit by a black widow twice. It hit him twice in this almost the same spot right here on his thumb. He was down at the garden center, and this was back, like, he was quite a lot younger than he is now, and he was reaching in for a bag because he was, like, loading a truck or something, and the black widow was underneath the bag. And I think he didn't go to the doctor for it, and I think it made him like all up into his face.
Whoa.
Like,
and really, didn't go to the doctor?
I don't think so.
Your dad, he was telling a story about how he got his wisdom teeth pulled out, and John, the previous owner of Andrews,
who was like a dad to my dad,
offered him some like nuts of some kind, and your dad took him up on it right after he got his wisdom teeth pulled out. So he was open wounds. He's like, I'll have some nuts.
And they got packed full of nuts.
Yeah, he had to go back. And the did you call it a doctor, I guess, or a
dentist, right? Or
no,
oral surgeon?
An oral surgeon probably. He had to like get a water pick or something like that and flush it out. And he said that the oral surgeon was like, "You did this to yourself, man. Like I'll help you out, but the pain that you're feeling right now was your fault."
Yes, you dude. Linda said, do you ever harvest all your dandelion leaves for cooking? I did one time for dandelion ice cream because I thought I would just give it a try. Wasn't that this spring?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was not that great. I would never do that again. Tracy said, do you trim the crab apples so they have the shape, or is that natural? We do try to trim the crab apples. There are a few. In fact, I should probably do that here soon. There's a few I need to take after. They've got really low hanging branches. Our crab apples, the ones that have been in the ground for a couple years, are so loaded with crab apples they can hardly hold their own weight.
One of these days, you and I should just go around and just do tree trimming. It's one of those things that's like, maybe it won't be that fun to watch on a video. Maybe it'll be satisfying, but there's a lot of stuff we need to trim.
There really is. Maybe we should do that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor said, question for your recap. Are you guys ever going to paint your red barn to match the other buildings on the property, like the big white barn or your house?
Maybe, but it's not high on the list.
I don't know that I would paint it white. I would maybe paint it the same color as the pole barn.
Yeah.
Like a dark charcoal. Just have it recede into the back there. I'm really happy we went with that for the pole barn, because if it was white, it would have appeared way closer, because it would have just caught your eye a lot more. And it shows up because that pole barn's big. But thankfully, it's dark color, at least on the outside.
And we've got that oak tree that's planted in front of it.
Yeah.
So I think that you won't even see the pole barn in the end.
Yeah.
I wonder if that oak tree's too close, though.
You can trim anything, right? We planted tulip trees right up next to this barn. We could still move those out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. We might need to be aggressive on trimming branches. Anything that's heading toward the barn on the tulip trees, we might have to be like quite aggressive.
Yeah.
On trimming those.
Right.
Anyway, okay.
Side note. Joanne said, when you pulled the drip tape out, what about the landscape staples? Or were they just held down with blocks where you took your row caps? No, they were held down by landscape staples too.
They're just still in there?
They're just in there.
They'll rust.
They'll rust, and we'll find them. I find landscape staples along the way all the time.
We'll find them with the metal detector that I bought.
Oh, that's right.
Did we ever talk about that?
I think so. But we could set Benjamin loose out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's real good at stuff like that.
It's annoying, though. You're out there and you get a hit, and then it's like a tiny little nail from a, pallet or something like that. You want to find something good like gold.
Right. Haven't been so lucky yet, have you?
Or platinum.
Yeah. All right, next video is planting behind the Dreamstream patio and a grape harvest plus juice canning. So I planted the things that had to be dug out from that same exact area, most of which ended up back in there, except for Amy took the blueberry muffin, viburnum, because I already have one out in the south garden. She said she has the perfect spot for it. So she took that one home, but I planted the Lone Star hostas, the global oak leaf hydrangeas, and then the Montana moss juniper. So we got those all in, and then I harvested our white Niagara grapes, which are a seeded grape, and they're really good for juice. Oh my gosh, or jelly. We don't use grape jelly for do we use it for anything? No. So I just walked you through that process. The harvest was amazing. I mean, I've just got the 2 white Niagara vines out there that Mateo, young man from Philadelphia, sent us these plants in a big box. They were in big containers full of soil, and he wrapped them all up beautifully, sent them out to us a few years ago, and they've just been such a delight to have. So I'm super thankful for that. And then we ended up with 16 quarts of grape juice from our harvest, which was awesome. It took me like 7 hours to do all of that. So I actually had to finish that video the next morning because it was like 10:30 p.m. when I got the last jars out of the canner. Richard said, why exactly do you cut all the luscious green growth off the mint plants? They look butchered now. Well, because you have to. Have you not grown mint before? They get overgrown. What?
What are you, an idiot?
No. They grow up and bloom, and you need to cut them back. It's just part of the maintenance with mint plants. And they're full of hard water because we have them right next to this lawn. So if you get really close, they don't actually look that lush or nice. So it's just regular maintenance that we do on aggressively growing herbs. That's why they're in pots to begin with. Judy said, does anyone know how you can tell if a white grape is ripe? Well, maybe you guys could weigh in, because I don't know if there's an actual indicator that I know of that will tell you when it is. Usually I just know like the harvest season for that particular variety of grape. You can look it up. And based on your area, it might vary just a little bit. But ours typically ripen mid to late September, and I can smell them in the air. When the fragrance gets very pungent in the air, I kind of just know it's time to do it. That's what I look for. Lady Spearmint said, question, what grapes would you recommend for tasty but fragrant? I'm looking at copying your grape trellis design and positioning it by some seating on my back patio as a green wall of sorts. Grapes can smell so amazing, so I was looking for recommendations. Boy, I've had experience with the Suffolk Red. If you're looking for a table grape, Suffolk Red is a really good one. That's the table grape we still have out there. I didn't harvest those that day. I've had experience with Canadice. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it looks like Canadice. And then Vanessa. I've had pretty good luck with those. Glenora Blacks I've tried as well. If you're wanting a Concord type, the White Niagara is very good, but it does have seeds. And then there's a Concord seedless. So if you want that very pungent kind of musky grape smell, the Concord gives you that, or the White Niagara. But you can get the purple Concord in a seedless type. So I don't know. I don't think of those as being like a grape to snack on. They have that like juice / jelly sort of taste to me. Janice said, love the peaceful grape gathering. Do you not have mosquitoes like we do in Illinois? They're a nuisance here. They were just a little bit ago.
Yeah, there hasn't been any mosquitoes in the last week or two.
Yeah. They were really, really bad and bothersome this spring. Like late spring, early summer, they were horrible. Then they kind of lulled out, and then we had like a little resurgence. It lasted a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Week, 10 days, and I haven't noticed them. So, yes. Yay.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm happy about that. Kathy said, good morning. It's always good to see Russell. To be able to grow grapes and make your own grape juice is so fun. Where do you store it? Does it need refrigeration or just shelf space? I only refrigerate it after I open a jar, but the rest of it just sits on a shelf in our basement until I'm ready to use it. So yeah, you can just store it anywhere in your house. CVPAQ said, I know you don't spray your grapes with anything, but wouldn't they be full of dust? Not really. They're so protected by the leaves that I didn't really notice any kind of a dust issue on mine. I mean, you could absolutely, if you really were kind of worried about it and wanted to make sure they were super duper squeaky clean before you put them in the steamer, you could rinse them, and that wouldn't hurt anything at all.
A little bit of dust never hurt anybody.
No. Rhonda said, what kind of gelatin do you use for the gummies? I made some last year with my kiddos and they smelled and tasted horrid. Oh, bummer. So it's a beef gelatin. It's an unflavored beef gelatin. The brand is Healthy Foods. And I think it says something protein types 1 and 2 on the bag. You can get it on Amazon. That's where I ordered it. Has absolutely no flavor, and it works beautifully for the gummies. And typically when we do our gummies, and I've done them in a video before, but I think maybe it was last year around this time, you just heat up the grape juice with a little bit of that gelatin in there and take it off the heat once you see it starting to kind of like steam, and then you just put it into your little gummy forms, and that's it. No sugar, nothing. Just the gelatin and the grape juice, and it worked great. I also tried some strawberry, like pureed some of our strawberries, added a little honey for that to take like the tart edge off the strawberries, and the gelatin, and that worked great too. Jackie said it's a happy to be Russell day. Question, do you cut back your blonde ambition? If so, when should I do that? So the blonde ambition blue grama grass, we've got it in several different locations at the top part of the waterfalls on both sides of the pond. And then we've got it in one section out in the garden. It looks pretty through the winter because it is a smaller statured grass. You know, it's like 2.5 feet tall. It doesn't tend to flop like some of the bigger grasses out there. So I like to leave it up through the winter, and then we just cut it back late winter, early spring. All right, the last group of questions came from last week's recap video. Mr. Lang 30 said, I love/have autumn joycetum, but it gets a little too big, 36 inches for my particular spot. Not to mention it tends to splay out rather easily. Do you find the coral jade splays, and is it smaller than autumn joy even though the tag sizing says the same, 24 inches? I need to find a replacement ASAP. Coral jade does stay smaller than my autumn joy, quite significantly so. It doesn't get quite as big and showy of like bloom bunches, like, you know, how autumn joy gets the big discs on the top. This one tends to be a little bit more low, rounded, and it gets like little bunches, but they're all real close together. So it's a very beautiful display, and I don't tend to have as much problem with them splaying out. I did notice, because I just planted some of the Pure Joy sedum this last week, that the ones I have out in the garden are getting too much water because they're splaying out. They're getting plenty of sun. They don't need to be divided. They're not getting fertilizer, so it's a water thing. Usually when they splay out, that's why they do it. So I know that we need to cut water. As soon as we cut everything back and it's cleaned out, I need to remember we need to pull the drip. Yeah. Especially the ones closest to the grass. I think the overspray from the grass is plenty. Sure. For them. Amanda said, I get inspiration every time I watch your videos. That's glad to hear that. I just divided and transplanted some iris. Some didn't really have a rhizome, but they had roots, so I wasn't able to expose the rhizome above the dirt. Will they still grow or even flower? Probably. Just give them some time. Plants are pretty resilient. I mean, you can be given a guide. A lot of times you can fudge that guide quite a lot and still have success, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Sherry said, hey, Laura and Erin, have you ever considered removing the gravel in the Persephone garden and replacing it with Erin's gorgeous grass?
I mentioned that one time.
When did you mention that?
I think it was when we were talking about taking the fence out, and you said, rightly so, it's going to look like that's where you should turn, because the gravel kind of opens up right there. Taking the fence out. Yeah. But I think that was like really early on in the process, and I never pushed for it, or we never revisited it.
I honestly don't remember you saying that.
You could do it. You could take out all the gravel. You wouldn't have the jelly beans because it would just all be grass. Yeah. You could do that.
I mean, a person could do anything, right? It's hilarious though, you guys. When you stand back and look at that edging of brick that we had put in, it is messed up in multiple.
Oh, on the other side?
I mean, you can see where everybody has messed up and turned around and run over the bricks. Yeah. And maybe like we had the bricks put in when you were trying to grow that grass. So the soil was very loose not loose, squishy. Yeah. It was very moist over there because it had to be to get the grass seed going. And now it's a lot more firm. So, once we fix those, I think they'll stay put. Yeah. But actually, I hate to say that I'm thankful that it got messed up, but I kind of am, because we got bricks that match our formal flower bricks. Mm-hmm. The ones we had put in, they do not look like the old bricks that we used to buy. Different. They have the same name, the Holland gray and red and charcoal. Right. Bricks from Home Depot are not the same as the ones that we used to get. They're way thinner and they're not as pretty. They have like a very orange pink vibe. Yeah. And I just they were put down and I thought, well, I mean, the bricks look pretty and we'll just go with it, but I don't love the color. Is there a stain we can put on them or whatever? But now that we have to fix it, we get to replace them with the prettier bricks.
I'll have them put down a little bit lower as well. I think that was an issue. They were installed just a hair too high. So we'll put them down lower. We'll have the correct bricks. We'll be able to reuse all the edging pieces, which is nice. And then we'll probably at the same time, we'll just go all the way down the driveway.
That'll look really nice.
Yeah. Instead of stopping right where the pavement starts. Right. So anyway.
Yeah. It's all good.
But answer the question. Oh, yeah. It's not a horrible idea.
It's not.
To do all grass there.
I have a hard time imagining it because it's so off anyway. That the whole Persephone with the 2 locust trees is off centered from all the rest of the stuff in that garden, that I just can't imagine doing that without the trees being...
If our septic drain field was not in that area, we would have torn everything out by now. Probably. I think that's the kicker is that, we don't want to have to redo the drain field. Yeah. So.
All right. Susan said, Erin does such a great job with the grass. You do. I can't wait to see the north garden at maturity. Question, when the locust trees get big and shade the grass, will you need to change the type of grass grown?
I don't know. Maybe, but...
you could throw some creeping red fescue in right after you do your dethatching.
Locusts are a little airy though.
They are airy. Mm-hmm.
It's not like deep shade, so I think it might be okay. Yeah, they have small leaves. I think it's a good tree to put in grass. Yeah, because it doesn't provide deep
dense shade.
Dense. Yeah. And we can also We can also play around with keeping them a little bit more airy. You know, we can, it doesn't have to be like a super dense tree. You can
Right.
go in and you can clip out and, just give it a lot of breathing room. So we can make it work.
Yeah. Kinsman Susan said, tape, what tape can you share, please, regarding your leak? Remember the waterproof tape that we were talking about? We had like a little
I don't
leak.
even know what that tape was. Your mom got it for
I
me
know.
for Christmas.
One year in his stocking, my mom just went to Home Depot and got like every tape imaginable.
You know what though? Those kinds of gifts, when you are a homeowner,
Yeah.
getting gifts like that are super nice because as long as you have the space to store things, like if you have a garage with ample room, which we do, getting like 10 different types of tape for any circumstance. Every once in a while you're like, oh, remember that waterproof tape that, you know, it's like Flex Seal kind of type of tape, you know? But yeah, you've got it. You've got a whole roll of it.
Yeah.
You just bust it out and use it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what brand it is, but it was blue on one side,
Yeah.
right? Anyway, I think we still have part of the roll. It doesn't have any wrapping on it, so I don't even know that it has a brand on there. But we've used it in several different spots. And one year my mom did like all cutting tools, right? Like like bunch of different types of scissors and blades and things like that.
Yeah.
Different themes. Lavender Bloom said, are the concrete items frost resistant? I don't know if they're termed exactly frost resistant. I've noticed sometimes I'll say like a zone on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like Athens?
Yeah, I don't know if Athens specifically, because that's a pretty new brand to me. I haven't experienced a lot of their pieces yet, but that's where I just got a lot of the pots and pot feed and
It's out of
saucers
North
from.
Carolina. They don't freeze.
Right. So
Super
it
hard.
may not be like as strong as some of the other stuff.
Unique Stone's out of North Carolina too.
Yeah,
What's up with
Unique
North
Stone-
Carolina.
I don't know. They're like the concrete manufacturers of the,
I know Biltmore is in North Carolina.
and they have a Biltmore line. Unique
Yeah,
Stone does.
Unique Stone does.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, our concrete does overall pretty well during the wintertime. Did you order a cover for the big fountain? Are we going to cover that this winter?
I didn't.
You didn't? I mean, I hate to cover pieces.
I
hate
can.
it. I would almost rather a piece not last quite as long so that I can enjoy it all the months of the year instead of looking at a tarp over part of your beautiful garden.
But
I mean, if you're talking shaving off 1 or 2 years of its life,
I don't think it's 1 or 2 years.
you don't think so?
I think it's shaving off maybe as much as like 75%.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, the water accumulating underneath the fountain and you get the pock marks, and before you know, it doesn't hold water anymore.
Maybe. But you know what does hold up? MPG planters in front of the barn. Yes. Those things are like, they'll like withstand
I wonder if
the
they're
apocalypse.
still in business.
I don't know. Those things are just tough
When
as
did we
nails.
get those in like 2015?
Yeah. Well, it was the year we moved in here, which was 16.
2016.
Yeah, I think it was the year we moved in here. Right? Yeah. Those are tough.
That's funny.
And they've been out they haven't
Well,
been put away.
They were wanting to do like some kind of sponsorship with us.
We should have done
I
it.
should try to find them
I
and
know.
say, hey, look, we've had enough years. We've had 9 years to use your product.
You know what the problem was? I remember the problem at the time.
What?
There was like 2 styles I liked out of theirs.
Oh,
and
out
the
of
rest
their
of
whole
them
line.
looked cheap.
They look
you know?
like modern.
Yeah, like
small.
too clean. They looked plasticky. These are like a resin, but they don't like have that look exactly, but they've never been put away. They've always had something in them at all times through every winter we've had, even Snowmageddon,
Yeah.
where we got all that snow.
MPG planters, man.
There you go. RHS Wrestler said, love your channel, thank you. A lot of us garden as hobby, wondering, since gardening is also your business, what activities do you do as hobbies?
You have a lot of hobbies.
I do. I like.
Go for it.
What? Go for it? You want me to list them all?
You play the piano.
I play the piano. I love to read. I read a lot. I read like 2 books a week, probably. I would think 1 to 2 books a week. I like to cook. I cook 6 days out of the week.
Yeah.
I like to go out to eat to places and try new places. You like that too. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't say that's like a hobby, but it's a fun thing we like to do.
No, it's something we enjoy to do, though.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do I like to do? That doesn't seem like a super long list. Also knit. I love to knit. It has to be a certain time of year though. I mean, you guys know how that
All
is.
the things that you do in videos are hobby, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like canning
Yeah.
and arrangements and planting. I don't think you can just discount those just because it also is a
suppose.
business.
Yeah. Because I do a lot of those things not on video too.
Yeah.
I've got all these flowers in the garden. Yeah, at a store the other day, I was like, ooh, those Alstroemeria are very pretty. I love bringing Alstroemeria home. My mom and I both do because they last forever in a vase. And there's something to be said for that. They'll last like 3 weeks in a vase. So we'll bring home big bunches of those and just put them around the house. And then you don't have to think about them for a while. But yeah, so I made a couple of arrangements with those and some roses the other day just for fun. I don't know. I like to play stuff with the kids. Yeah. Actually, Benjamin's excited because I told him I'd play Battleship with him as soon as we're done filming this recap video. You know what? One thing that, this is not a hobby, but one thing I do for myself once a month, and this I just started this last year, is I do go get a massage once a month. That's like me time. And I feel like that's helped me so much. I love the gal that I go to. She's awesome. If you're local, DM me. I will tell you about her. She's great. And I go and get an 1.5-hour massage once a month. And it's just like the time you can just I turn everything off and nobody asks me anything. It's quiet and peaceful. And it's just, that's been a really huge treat.
Yeah.
And it's something you have to prioritize though, because you have to prioritize it financially. You have to prioritize the time, but I think that you're worth it, you know? And if you're working really hard and, you know, doing those things, I think that having that time once a month is good, or once every other month or whatever the case may be. Anyway, that's not a hobby. Now your hobbies.
Oh, nobody cares.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. Aaron is an avid coin collector. That's a hobby.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I feel like mowing the lawn is a hobby of mine. I love
he tinkers
in
with
terms
that,
of like massage and stuff like that. Mowing the lawn, I put on the headphones and I can listen to a podcast or listen to music or whatever, and that's like big time me time. I wouldn't want more of it. Because there's a point where it's like, okay, I've spent enough time on the lawn tractor where I'm good. But I do like that. I play the guitar. I don't get that out as much as I should.
Yeah.
I should get that out more. We've been talking about playing together more.
He's very up to date with current events.
Yeah, I read the news a lot. I play chess a lot.
Oh, yeah, you do.
How
many games a day do you play online?
I mean, I'm a little embarrassed maybe to say. I'm not sure I want to say the number.
No, you know what? Playing chess online versus, what's it called? Doom scrolling?
Yeah.
It's so different.
I suppose.
Yeah, because you're working your brain.
Yeah.
It's a brain workout.
It totally varies. It depends on, you know, if I've got the time or not. But I do spend a lot of time playing chess. Yeah. I like some of the other things too. Like I like traveling. I like
football pool.
Yeah. I run a football pool. And so I'm into football. I'm not like big time into football though.
You're not like my dad who goes and changes jerseys mid-game.
Yeah.
You know, my dad has all the jerseys and he like, you know.
I'm not a diehard football fan, but I enjoy watching it and I like being in a pool. But yeah.
There we go. Julie said, "Hi, Laura and Aaron. Love your channel. So inspiring. Thank you. Question, are any established plants or trees not on drip? Or do you keep them on drip still because of your climate?" We've got several things that are not on drip. Things that were here, like, you know, trees, big trees and things.
I think everything that we have,
it gets hit by something.
It's getting hit by something
like grass
else.
Water or something like that. Well, there's a couple of trees. There's the ash tree in the driveway that doesn't have anything around it. And there's also the Sensation box elder in front of the red barn that doesn't have anything around it. Yeah. Occasionally we'll throw like a slow hose down and let it soak for a while.
But like we've had plants nearby that.
It's true.
Within the drip zone, for sure within the drip zone that have been getting watered.
Yeah.
So that's going,
you're right.
It's being watered. Yeah, I think everything is getting water from something somewhere, except for maybe the ash tree. That's probably one. But even then, the drip zone of the ash tree has got to be stealing some water from some of the other things, like the boxwoods.
Well, maybe.
Those boxwoods are under the drip line.
Yeah, they are. And I do throw a hose out occasionally, but it's like just a small handful of times a year.
Yeah.
When it's real hot. Comely Corner said, one of my boxes has developed a light gold rim around each leaf. It seems healthy otherwise, and none of the other boxwoods are affected. Do you know what might cause this?
Ours does that.
Yeah.
And we don't know. So
let me Google it. Let me see if I can find anything. A light gold or yellow rim around a boxwood leaf can signal several issues, including fungal disease, nutrient deficiency, winter stress, or pests. To determine the cause, you will need to examine the plant for other symptoms and consider its growing conditions. Boxwood blight is a severe fungal infection that can begin with dark or light brown spots on the leaves, which are surrounded by a yellow halo. That would look different. A fungal thing for the yellow rim around the leaf, I don't think that's it. I don't know, I would think that I know what mites look like on boxwoods and that's not it. Nutrient deficiency would probably be my first course of action, and checking the water system. So checking around the root system of those plants, seeing how wet it is it too wet, is it too dry, that kind of thing, and then throwing down some good fertilizer for them. And you could do like plant tone. You could even do a little bit of chelated iron too, just to see if that kind of helps stop it. Most of the time, especially in like a boxwood leaf like that, if you've got a nutrient deficiency, oftentimes you won't see the correction in that leaf. Like it won't change that yellow rim back to green. Oftentimes it'll just be the new growth that's showing the healthier signs. So that's probably where I would start, but you can Google light gold rim around boxwood leaf and you can read all the things that I'm just reading about right now. And it does show some pictures too, so you could take a look and see if maybe some of your pictures or your leaves match any of these pictures. And you guys, that is it for today's recap video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really great week, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.